All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Titan Muscle and Mind. And I've got a special guest today, Australia's first physique pro. How old were you, 21?
I was 20.
20. I met James probably a couple of years ago, and I think he had just turned pro. And, you know, he's gone through a big transition in his career as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about how he was able to get his pro card at such a young age and be the first pro to do so, and how he's changed his life from the 18 hours he used to work, which caused a few problems, and how he came back from that. I seen James at the Melbourne Expo on the weekend at the Arnold Classic, and because we've got so much in common, I watch a lot of his content, he watches a bit of mine. I had to get him on the show because at Titan Fitness, our mission is all about service and giving so much value back to our community and back to our members and back to our listeners, that I know James with his story can give so much value back to our community as well, along with his community as well. So welcome, James. Thanks a lot for coming down, mate. You know, you've had an absolute amazing career in the physique and the IFBB, and I know you've kind of transitioned a bit from your workload. Tell us, the viewers that don't know you, a little bit about your history and what you've done and where you are right now.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start right back at the beginning. So I started, I was always competitive. I was that like really annoying kid at school who was like super competitive, had to win everything all the time. So I started being really competitive from a young age. So I was trying to play high level footy, all that sort of stuff. In my final year of footy, where I was actually looking to go somewhere, I did both my knees. So I did one knee, and then came back next game, did the other knee, right? Which really sucked. Wasn't a lot of fun at all. And so when I did both my knees, I was like, I can't play footy anymore. I was like, oh, I'm going to get big then. So I started lifting. And so after then I went through schoolies, did all that stuff, had my little fun phase. And then I actually got approached by a photographer in a gym and said, dude, you should do this men's health comp, which is like the men's health cover or something like that. Men's health man of the month, whatever it is. And so I did that competition, and at 18, I was like the youngest on there by like a decade nearly. And I got through the finals, which is pretty cool. And then he said, oh, you should try doing a bodybuilding show. And then I ended up meeting my coach, then Rawdon and Jess Murphy. And so we then prepped for a show. I won it and then kept competing from there. And then I turned 20, won the pro card in the IFBB. So by that stage, I'd already done, I think it was 3 or 4 international shows. And all that. So that's what I did. And since then I just kept competing, went overseas, back over the US to compete in my first ever pro show. Did pretty well in that one. Got second in my first one, which is really cool. Second show didn't do so well, got kicked in the guts, got 10th in the same lineup, go figure. And then I went back a couple more times and did several other shows there before really crashing and burning right at the end.
Let's talk about that crash and burn. You know, you see so many people compete, and now you're a coach. You're coaching these guys. Let's talk about your credentials. You studied it's medical science, right?
Yeah, medical science.
Medical science. Did you get into medical science before you'd won your pro card and all that? Was this something you were always going to do, or did this come by going, this is what I want to do, I want to learn more about the medical science behind what happens, in individuals and in humans?
Good question. I'm actually not sure how I decided to do it first, what my thinking was. So I obviously went straight to uni out of school. So finished school, did my HSC, and then went straight into uni, started studying medical science. My goal originally was to go into medicine. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do medicine or pharmacy, whatever that is, to become a pharmacist. So one of those two, that was where I was going to go, or so I thought I was going to go. But then, ended up liking helping people and working with people a lot more instead. So that's why I decided to go this
that way. And you done those 2 years where you went, hell for leather, and you probably pushed yourself over the edge a little bit. Was it that competitive nature that caused that?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So it works in one way, but can also be of a negative on another.
Definitely,
point,
it's your typical dopamine dominant type A personality. I mean, you've got the the pre-existing it's nature or drive to overwork, to try and overachieve all the time. It's something you've got to be really, really careful of, because people like us, even you as well, you'll be very, very likely to just try and overextend yourself, try and do more. I think I remember we talked a few years ago now about how you had multiple Titan fitnesses, and you got sick of it. And you're like, nah, I'm just going to focus on one. The exact same thing. You just overextend yourself because you've just got that drive, which is great because you make a shitload of money. You do a shitload of really cool things, but then you crash and burn. There's always the big peak and then the big burn.
So anytime you peak, there's always a negative. There's a polar opposite to it. And you had to learn, obviously, the hard way of crashing and burning. Tell us what happened at that point.
So pretty much what I was doing is I was running my business, JCF coaching, and we were doing really well. I mean, I was gaining a heap of clients. I had about 100 and something clients at the same time at the one time who I was looking after by myself, which is stupid. And I was doing everything by myself, no automation, just manually sending out emails. And then I was training as well. I was prepping for my third consecutive season of shows. So on my third consecutive show, my third consecutive season of shows, so already done two prior preps in a row. On that as well, I was prepping for a total of about 18 months to 2 years straight, and that was drug free. It was just a lot. It's a whole heap of stress on the nervous system. I was talking to Mets before, and we were saying how I was trying to sleep as little as possible to get as much done as possible throughout the day, which is just stupid. Like I'm an absolute spud for thinking that was ever going to work. And so I'd be doing something every single moment of the day. If I was on the toilet, I'd be reading, I'd be doing something. If I was on the car, I'd be on the call, I'll be doing calls, I'd be reading, researching, something like that. Whatever. So my whole day was jam-packed. And what it ended up doing is my stress just got super, super high, as you'd expect. And so, I was training 5 hours a day plus working all this time. Something's got to give, because it's a balance about balancing the sympathetic nervous system, the stuff that makes you drive, your fight or flight nervous system, and then your resting nervous system. And I was way too sympathetic dominant. I was in what we call sympathetic overdrive, hard, and my body just literally shat itself. Literally just stopped working. I gained a heap of water, so I was like really, really puffy. I wouldn't lose fat. I couldn't digest food, so I actually went for a period of 2 weeks where I didn't eat any solid food. I just had essential amino acids, coconut oil, olive oil, and dextrose. That was my only food that I ate, because I couldn't physically digest anything. I still didn't stop going for the show. I still prepped on for that show after doing that. I mean, it's kind of dumb, isn't it?
You know what? I'm like now in my 40s, and I remember in the 20s. You feel invincible. And it's a good thing to have, and you still need that later on. But that invincibility, it's almost you're acting from the reptilic part of the brain. Right? Where you're not thinking about it. It's just, you're just doing it. And you're doing it because you go, well, mate, I'm invincible. Unless I crash and burn, I'm not going to stop. So you go almost, I've got to hit my face on the floor before I quit. And then I'm going to come back, because I'm going to be all right. And that's what you done, right?
Exactly.
And then you done that the second time. At what point then thereafter that did you go, wait a second, I've got to figure this shit out properly?
It was really when I placed second last in the comp. Was when I was just like, James, what are you doing? You've gone from being like one of the top 10 in the world down to second last in what wasn't really a tough lineup of blokes.
I remember that shape you were in where you got second or third. And you look so incredible. And when people look at that, they think you're coasting along really well, but you're not. You kind of knew. Did you know at that point when you got in that really unbelievable shape that you're pushing yourself too hard, or was it right at the end?
No, that was right at the start. That was where I was feeling awesome. That was when I was still on the way up.
On
the way up. I was managing my stress. I wasn't working as much. I had only a handful of clients then. I was still at uni, and I enjoyed uni. It was stress-free for me. Then as soon as I added in the stress of work and competing at the same time, that's when it smacked me really hard. And ended up looking crap, really bad. It wasn't even close to how I looked a year ago.
Has it been hard coming back from that end point to where you are now?
Oh yeah, massively. I had to rest. I mean, there's nothing harder than after smashing yourself and living on the adrenaline, because it's addictive, really addictive, to go from that to having to rest. Like I had to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, I had to,
And you don't like sleeping.
I hate sleeping. Sleeping sucks. what do you do when you sleep? What do you do when you sleep? It sucks.
So you went back into the sleeping. Was that causing you stress trying to sleep, or was it really hard that you had to force it on yourself?
It was really super hard. I remember sitting at home and actually forcing myself to be lazy, you know, to work, you know, less than 8 hours a day. It was like I had to physically like think to do it, because my first, you know, instinct would be to just go reach out to the laptop and, you know, shoot off a few emails, do a little bit of this, jump on the phone, whatever. And it was honestly, it was super hard. I remember I'd stare at the ceiling for hours, just think like it's feeling like you're trapped. It's like you're in jail, because you just you know I'm not allowed to do this, because otherwise I'll be worse off. But you feel like shit when you're doing it.
Yeah. With your clients, right? You must have learned a lot through that process.
Oh, heaps.
Then to be able to go to your clients, like, I know exactly what you need.
Oh, heaps. Yeah, so much. I mean, this is where, when I really screwed up with myself, that was where I started focusing on stress. And since I started focusing on stress with my clients and managing that, the results have gone through the roof. We're going at 2 to 3 times the pace of fat loss and muscle gain than what we were, you know, a year and a half ago. And we don't have anybody who makes massive improvements then dies off, you know, and everyone's feeling a whole heap better for it too. It taught me an absolute ton, and as you said, it's only when you get smacked around the face that you actually start to realise these sorts of things and how important they really are.
As a coach now, do you think you're a better coach because of what you went through?
Oh God, yeah, definitely. I mean, the coolest part about what I did is that I went through all the shit, so I can relate to everybody now. So I help, like, primarily myself. I focus on people with digestive issues and anxiety, depression, PTSD, that sort of stuff.
It's massive.
And it's awesome. There's nothing cooler than having somebody come to you with anxiety, and then within 2 weeks, you know, we've alleviated the anxiety and it's not a part of their life anymore. I mean, just recently had a bloke, one of my favourite clients. He came to me. He couldn't walk down the street. He couldn't walk down the street because, you know, seeing people just freak him out. And then within 2 weeks, he's got no anxiety, nothing. Walk in, do whatever he wants. Goes into a crowded gym, crowded places, wherever. Doesn't affect him whatsoever. And that's the coolest thing. I'm super glad that I went through, you know, all that shit with my stress in order to be able to understand, empathise, and then, you know, help them through it.
Can you give us an example of a couple of things you've done for anxiety that they had? Because I know heaps of guys in here would have it. Like, what's a couple of things that anyone can do that's easy to do?
Number one is breathe properly. You'll have no idea how few people breathe. I mean, we were speaking about
it before.
Yeah, your breathing's massive, diaphragmatic breathing. If you're breathing like that, and you're elevating your shoulders, it's actually like a stress response almost. It's a very, very stressful way to breathe. That's how you should be breathing when you're lifting weights or when you're running, you know, not just day to day, everyday stuff. You should be breathing diaphragmatically. So through your belly, just like that, letting it all the way through. Exactly.
All the way through, up, all the way through the top end as well.
Yeah, exactly. There are loads of different ways to do it. I mean, I got taught how you're meant to imagine breathing the air going through your nose, up the back of your head, and then down into your lungs.
Almost circulating.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you do it. As long as you're not doing that type of breathing, that's huge. And you'll honestly, you'll instantly feel better. If you are having anxiety, you get it, and you can feel it coming on. You just start breathing a few times and go away. Like near instantly. So that's number one. The second thing is fix up your diet. Don't eat crap. There's this big thing at the moment with people pushing if it fits your macros. Now, I've been a massively outspoken critic of if it fits your macros, like ever since it was conceptualized. For those of you who don't know, it's the theory that you can still lose fat or gain muscle, you know, eating whatever foods you like as long as it fits the macronutrient ratios or targets which you set. And now, yes, that is true. You will change weight. You'll be able to change your weight. But will you feel good, or will you do it in the best way possible? Fuck no. You're a spud if you think that's the case. You know what I mean?
Like that.
Because their foods affect you in different ways. And one thing a lot of people don't realise is that a large amount of your anxiety can be caused by food. A lot of people are really, really prone to that. Why is that? Because the majority of your neurotransmitters, the brain chemicals which control anxiety and regulate anxiety, are made in the gut. So if you're chucking Pop-Tarts down your gob, like a potato, right, and you're thinking, oh, right, I'm still losing weight, this is cool, but I feel like shit, but I really like Pop-Tarts, so I'm going to keep doing it. It's like, well, no wonder you got anxiety, because you're ruining your gut. Your gut's not happy with you, and it's not producing as many neurotransmitters as what it should be.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that. And you nailed it there. Those two really can change everything.
Massively.
Everything for you. When you're competing, I know, in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
I actually know 10 days now.
10 days. What are you doing from the time you knew you were competing till now? Are you dropping calories dramatically, or are you going to keep the calories up?
Yeah, no, so I decided to compete with 30
This
days.
is a good story as well. I like this story. This is what I like about it, the competitive nature.
So pretty much there's a comp on in Fiji in 10 days from now. And I was talking with one of my competitors at the Arnold Classic, and he was saying, bro, like, he told me he's going to go over and do Fiji. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this, man. Let's get you ready for it. And he said, oh yeah, and after I do it, if I win the pro card there, he wanted to do the pro show afterwards. I'm like, oh, is there a pro show there? And he said, yeah, there's a pro show. I'm like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I jumped on the phone, talked to Rawdon, one of my coaches, and then talked to another bloke, Broderick, who I also work with. And I said, guys, do you think that we can do this in 13 days? And they're like, fuck yeah, we can do this. Let's do it. So there is nothing healthy about what I'm doing for this comp at all. There's nothing even sensible about doing what I'm doing in this comp. We're cramming in a 12-week prep into 13 days. So my calories are disgustingly low. I went from 6,000 calories a day and 1,000 grams of carbs a day down to 2,000 calories a day and 200 carbs a day. That's it. As for my training, I'm doing roughly 7 hours of training a day at the moment. So there's a heap of cardio in there. So I'm doing roughly 90 to 120 minutes. My coach says do 90 minutes of cardio, but I do 120 because,
you're competitive. Competitive nature, but you're very disciplined too, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. But discipline only comes down to is like, how badly do you want the goal? I mean, you put your goal up here and you say, what do I need to do in order to achieve that goal? If you know what you've got to achieve, then you just stick to it. Because if you don't stick to it, then you don't really want to reach that goal, do you?
Yeah. So, do you think, you go, it's ridiculous, it's not healthy. Do you think by you cramming it in, it's probably going to be more beneficial for you in the long run instead of doing a 12-week one where it would be hard?
It's a good question. So nobody does this, particularly in the pro leagues. You might get an amateur who rocks up, and that's not to sound condescending, but you might get somebody who's an amateur competitor who rocks up after a 2-week prep and does okay. That's cool and all. But in the pro leagues, it's like everyone's bang on. So you think every year when you go to a bodybuilding show and you see the guy that's like the best on stage and he looks wicked, that's everybody in the pro leagues. That's everybody. Everybody's been that guy. I've been that guy. Like everyone's been there, and that's what we compete against. So nobody's really done it. If it works, then hell yeah, I'm going to be doing this more in the future. I would much rather only suffer for 2 weeks and like really badly suffer, like I want to kill myself type suffer for 2 weeks and be still able to run my business really well for the rest of the time than to have to sacrifice business for 12 weeks.
If this goes well, are you looking to do more comps more regularly, or you're going like, I'm not going to do regular comps, I know what happened to me, or you're going to keep doing it?
Yeah, there's a comp the week after as well. So
is there? There we go.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure about it, but we'll see. I've got the bug big time. As soon as I started prepping and got that stress back in, it was really refreshing. It was really, really cool.
So you at points, you've got to push yourself to the stress level.
Definitely.
It's important, isn't it?
Yeah, stress is the only thing which drives change. If you don't get stressed, you don't make change. That's it. As simple as that.
And that's one thing I wanted the listeners to understand is, like, even though you took the stress away, you know when to bring it up and bring it in when you need to, and you know when to back off, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. It's not about having a zero stress lifestyle. It's about selectively choosing your stresses and how much to choose, knowing what you can deal with. And
that's what I say to people, like, our human potential is limitless. So we should understand where we can push ourselves to, but we should also understand when to back off and have that time where we reflect and go, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. I know how to do it. I just need a couple of days break. I'm not actually having a break, but I'm still working, but I'm just going to ease back in and then go hard again.
Exactly.
And it's almost like cycling, isn't it? Like cycling your carbs, cycling your protein, getting ready for a comp. It's no different. You've got to know when to go up, you've got to know when to go down. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror and go to yourself, okay, I look pretty good. I can probably, bump it up a little bit and get the metabolism working faster. Is that kind of how you work your methodology around what you do?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, definitely. You depend on how you feel. That's how you adjust what you're doing in your lifestyle.
Thanks a lot, James. But listen, I want people to obviously follow you that don't know you, that are our listeners, because I watch your Facebook Live and it's really, really good. I mean, there's so many good content that you can take out of there. But one thing I want to ask about now is supplements. What kind of supplements do you advocate your people, and what kind of supplements do you tell them to steer away from?
Yeah, supplements I tell them to steer away from is anything that's excessively marketed. So anything that's got some nice girl with the tits out in front of it, holding it right about there, saying, look at my new XYZ supplement.
Jules is laughing in the background. I'm going to get Jules to ask a couple of questions, because I know he might have a couple for you. And go on.
But yeah, anything that's got a chick's tits next to him or a dude's abs next to it, don't bother.
Except your abs, yeah?
Except your abs. Except you won't see me selling my soul for a supplement.
What do you advocate?
What do I advocate? That depends on the user, depends on the person, on the case. We're very specific with our supplements. But in general, the best thing that you can do is choose anything which will help you sleep. Magnesium, fantastic. You should smash that. I smash about 4 grams of it a day.
Beautiful.
Anything that contains, the now banned Phenibut, if you can still get your hands on that, that's wicked stuff. Fantastic for you. Anything with a little bit of, 5-HTP, great stuff. Melatonin, also great. Anything to help you sleep and relax, that's the best thing, because in this Western lifestyle that we live in, we're super stressed all the time, and taking stuff like that can help to balance the stress and bring you back to level ground. Yeah,
beautiful. Jules, have you got any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
Pretty big on gut health. My first question is out of that. Do you remember us doing a couple of videos together?
I do, mate.
It's all because of me that you're so successful.
That's it. That first video.
I like that
video we did got, I think it was 5,000 views or something, 6,000 views. Yeah.
That's good. Probiotics, what are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I'm a little bit up in the air about them at the moment, because some people react really poorly to them, whereas others react really, really well to them. At the moment, it's a process of trial and error. I still recommend everybody takes a very basic one, like a Lactobacillus and Bifidobacteria probiotic. I still think that's a good idea. But you got to be aware that, if you start taking them and you start feeling crap, you probably shouldn't be on them. Even better than probiotics is actually having a higher amount of pickled or fermented foods in your diet, or just locally sourced foods. You should always source locally, because, you get, more bugs which are beneficial specifically to you.
That's cool, man. And also, just to rejig the whole if it fits your macro things, I think people these days are sticking to the same foods all the time. So, like repetitively, they're eating foods that they think are good for them. Like, for example, people eat carrots all the time, and that's actually not good for the gut. Can you just further elaborate on that?
That's a really good point, because yes, I do rag on if it fits your macros all the time, but I think that anyone who just diets like a spud, it's like a muppet, anyone who does silly forms of dieting where you're not getting variety and you're eating in a way which is harming your digestive system where you don't feel good, that's just silly. The way that I define a good diet and a healthy diet is, do you feel good? Are you getting bloated? If you're not getting bloated, then that's a good thing. Are your bowel movements all sweet? That's what you should be looking for. If you're doing all that, then it's sweet. What you've said is completely right. If you're just eating carrots all day, every day, it's pretty dumb.
This is carrot stick thing with the dips. That's really advocated a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, like you see the girls in the office, carrot stick with the
hummus.
With the hummus, yeah. Don't you see? It's because you don't work on the office with
I've never had a real job, mate.
I think we got most of them have moved on, haven't they? The carrot heads.
Yeah. The problem is also in, like, say, the bodybuilding circles, there's a stigma of chicken, broccoli, and rice.
Oh,
then that
so dumb.
is so bad for your gut. You know what I mean? So
it's so dumb.
Especially the hormones that are injected into the chicken, the GMOs and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
but if you're right, if you're consistently having that, what will that do to your gut?
It'll just change the diversity of the gut bacteria. With chicken, that's a big one. I hate chicken. I can't stand chicken. Won't ever cook it. And pretty much as soon as you get like, if you overconsume it, you start like getting an immune response to chicken.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest immune responses I see is to chicken from people who come to me. Chicken and eggs.
Chicken and eggs.
Everybody
Eggs.
thinks you're supposed to smash eggs every day, like chug them raw and all that stupid stuff. Have you done that?
Yeah, I used to do that before I went.
Is that when you watch Rocky? Rocky?
Yeah, man.
So dumb,
You
isn't
will
it?
look good eating that stuff, but you won't be good inside. You know.
Yeah.
You might be good for 1 or 2 contest preps, but then if everything's changing in your gut and you can't assimilate the food, what happens after that?
Yeah, exactly.
And well, there's one more question I was going to ask you. You with beef, are you big on beef, or do you believe in organic, or do you believe? I mean, it's hard to get organic, right? In a staple diet for you now, would that have changed a lot from what you were doing initially?
I get all my food cooked for me, so
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's good because I hate cooking. And I'm terrible at cooking. But as far as everything that Gemma from Daily Fuel does for me, that's the girl who preps all my meals. Everything's chemical free. I don't think it's organic, but it's all chemical free. And so I feel much better doing that. As far as organic versus non-organic, yes, it is shown. It's been several studies that organic stuff does have higher nutrient content, micronutrient content. Does that matter in the long run? The micronutrients, no. I mean, for me, I'm eating 6,000 calories a day. I'm not short on any micronutrients because there's so much food coming in. If you're on bloody 1,000 calories a day, then maybe it'll matter a little bit more. I think that in the end of the day, you've got to look at what you can afford.
100%. Yeah, totally agree.
There's no point in buying the shittest organic food and just buying, several bits of carrot, every day, and that's all you eat. Carrot and hummus every day. It's organic. That is not going to be better for you than eating like a wide balanced diet that's not organic. In the end of the day, non-organic food isn't really that bad for you. It's really not that bad, but organic is undoubtedly better. Yeah. So it's the difference between, it's 1% or 0.5% or whatever it is. Yeah. It's not very much.
As long as the meat's chemical free.
Exactly.
The meat, the chicken, whatever it is.
Exactly.
As long as it's chemical free.
Even better is buying locally sourced.
Yeah.
You get it locally sourced. It's got all the bacteria on it that is local to the area. If you want to succeed in an environment, you want to have more of the environment around you. You want to consume that environment. So that's the best way to go.
Right, that's good. So, you've amazing information. Where can people find you? I mean, you're on Facebook. You've got your own website as well. Yeah,
the best place to find us is on Facebook, which is James Cant IFBB Pro. Or we've got a really cool group, really awesome group. So they've got like 3,000,
I think I'm part of that group.
5,000. Yeah.
The
Shred community.
The Shred community, mate.
JCO Shred community. That's where
it's good when he gets angry in the afternoon. He's got his top off and he starts swearing. You got to watch it.
A few good rants in there.
It's good.
You'll hear me talking about doctors and what I think of them.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Even though we're not going into it, but I do agree with that. I know enough about it.
Not sure if we're allowed to speak about that, but anyway.
You know what it is, James. I think you can speak about anything that you're doing. You know what I mean? That people in the Shred community or your clients are doing, because that's what you're doing. You're not telling people to do it. So this is what I'm doing. I mean, and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people in the system that aren't quite learning new things of what they're fixing the symptom and not the cause.
Very true.
Right, and that's the big problem in hospitals, in doctors, because they're not really helping the root of the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing, like if you look at kids and what they're eating and how much genetically modified stuff they're having compared to what we had when we were young, it's getting worse every year. And so, these different councils and these different, from the Cancer Council, they've got a lot to answer for, really, right? And it's not like we're saying anything against anyone. What we're saying is, do your research, go and look at different blogs, different journals, and all that kind of stuff. Whatever we say, we're not saying go do it. Listen to what we've said, go do your research. And then ask yourself, will this work better for me? Do I feel better? Or do I want to feel better? I think it's important for people to ask themselves those questions and also do their research, because if you don't believe us, you don't have to believe us. That's all cool. We're just telling you what works for us 100%. And our people. And I don't think we're putting doctors down in that way. You know what I mean? I think we're saying, everyone, do your research. Do your research on what the doctor says. Yeah. Whatever he's giving you, don't just listen to him. Go do your research afterwards. I think, and you see a lot of people going, "No, you got to listen to the doctor, mate." Listen to yourself first. How are you feeling? That's so important for people to not just get bogged down and not develop themselves more to learn new things. You're going to continue to learn now, aren't you? Like for the rest of your life, you know. And you're going to see problems with people that come to you. You're going to come with new problems, and you're going to have to deal with that problem, and you're going to figure that problem out. And then you've got a new way of doing something new, you know. And I think it's just evolution of what's going to happen in life.
Exactly.
You know? But thanks again, James. So Shreds Community.
That's it.
Your website, Instagram. You're on Instagram.
Instagram James Cant _ the long one at the bottom, not the hash. The long one at the bottom.
Beautiful. There you go, guys. James, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see Tight Muscle and Mind community and people out there next time.